Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for morning prayers, morning encouragement, meditation, trying to keep our focus as we go into the certainty of knowing that the day will unfold in a way of beauty, and that change and transformation are something that we can deeply depend upon. These are the truths that we know. We know these. We know this by the evidence of our reality. That inside of this container of life, it is inevitable that change will happen. That change is happening, and that we are transforming together. And so good to see you all here. Sarah, good to see you. So many of you, good to see you. Zeke looks like is here. Christina's here. Oh, so many. Say hi to me and I'll be able to know you're here with us. Heather, good to see you. Awesome. So this morning, came into this prayer place, came into the altar, and really just sat down and started to play. And I don't have much of an agenda here. I don't have much prepared this morning, but I wanted to open my heart up to everyone. We started on our Facebook group, the Sacred Seven group. We started going into the feminine and the feminine aspect of ourselves. And some of you that have been following me know that I'm also doing the audiobook, which has been a lot of fun reading the audiobook. But it's actually very tiring reading the audiobook. Seems like I'll go, an hour or two, and then I just feel kind of exhausted in reading the book. And some of the book does bring up a lot of emotion because it is the purging, it's the transformation of the energy in my own life, the energy of so much of the childhood traumas, and good morning, Tracy, and the issues that I went through in my life, and I'm still going through in the cycles of realizing the process. We oftentimes have this idea that, you got to get over that, right? You got to get over those things that you went through. And me, in the way of understanding circular thinking and the circular process of our cycles as human beings, it's an emotional cycle that we go through. And as we recalibrate ourselves to the infinite possibility of our ministry and our service work, we begin to recalibrate the issues that we have gone through, and they begin to serve us in a deeper way. And this, of course, becomes illuminated through service. In my process of going through the book and rereading some of my childhood memories and the way that I navigated those things as a child, and in the book, in the process, it's an emotional cycle that comes up. And it's important to realize those emotional cycles because, of course, we can transform and we can utilize the density of that energy. Although in the gravitation of that energy, there's a certain sense of heaviness. And that heaviness is okay to feel into. It's okay to feel into that practice. And yesterday was one of those days. I did get a lot of work done on the book. I think I only have about 25 more pages left on the audiobook. So if you're listening to this broadcast this morning and this live encouragement and prayer, we've been doing this every day since the quarantine. And I'm so grateful to all of you for being here with me. And really, I know that it's a time of encouragement for all of us to really keep pushing forward, keep focusing our mind on the practice, right? And the practice is the journey. And the journey unfolds itself in the beauty. So we continue on in this way, knowing that which is unfolding to our own prosperity and our own abundance is becoming accessible as we are together in this process, as we are in the infinite intelligence and allowing ourselves to lean on that which is greater than any individual representation of the whole. It's important for us to really step into that place and have an opportunity to understand the limitless potential of this time that we're in. And in the book, in reaching into the density of what was going on, hello here, Monica says, oh, buenos dias. Gracias. I feel like the conversation we had about what came up for you after reading the book last night was good for both of us. Oh, for sure. Yeah, oftentimes as I'm reading the book and I come back, into my relationship with Monica, there's that opportunity to bounce things off of her and to have that intimate and vulnerable relationship that I think in my life has been the catalyst for so much transformation. We both have gone through so much, and yesterday, I'm going to be really vulnerable with all of you right now, and this is something that I really, oh man, it's intimidating to even share it because it's so vulnerable and it's so revealing about my process. And sometimes I'm limited in really opening up this way because it feels like the attachment to those kind of secrets inside of me, that place in which I hold on to shame. To be honest with you, it's the fortification of shame and guilt that suppresses that energy and fortifies it and really creates a density. And yesterday, some of that shame and guilt came up as I was processing. And this voice that arose inside of me and that came to the surface was a voice that I have encountered before. I've encountered it before in my life. And in processing this and really trying to bring it forward in this live, there's a challenge because of the resistance that's here. And the resistance in my own mind and how I relate to the child and the person that I am today. We want to believe in the transformation as a certainty. We want to believe in the evolution of our soul as a certainty. Yet in our lives, the emotional triggers that happen, the emotional density that creates that gravity that pulls us into that field, there is an access point into that density. And yet as we access the density of that human energy, that suffering, that emotion, there's the visibility of our own cognitive reasoning with the energy. And last night was a great example of how I went into the density of suffering and the ideas of my own self-identity and really emerged with, I'm going to be open and I'm going to share with you exactly how it came up. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because that wouldn't do justice. That wouldn't do justice for what I was experiencing. If I was to beat around the bush and not label exactly what I was feeling yesterday as I was going through the process of the book, I wouldn't, oh man, it's like I can feel it right here in this chakra, right here in my heart chakra, the density of the experience yesterday and how it wants to emerge through my throat. And yet, in order for me to share this with you, I have to feel the certainty of security. I have to feel the willingness to open my heart up in that way. And there's a part of me that in my own observation and judgment of my identity is resistant to that. I'm resistant to allowing for my heart to open up in this way. And I know that some of you are probably going to feel like it's maybe completely illusionary, and you're going to go right into your masculine and you're going to start to analyze what I'm going to share with you. And it's really, I appreciate that, and I love all of you that join me here in this prayer time and in this encouragement time. Yet for me, the revelation that I'm experiencing through the process of the Sacred Seven is about self-exploration, and it's about being present with that space inside of me. And yesterday what came up was the idea that I was born evil. And I know that this sounds really like kind of like as I say it to you now, it even like there's a part of me that analyzes that in my masculine and says, of course you weren't born evil, you were a child. Yet there's the justification in growing up with the trauma of post-traumatic stress and going to the bathroom on myself and living in that environment of dysfunction, and how the incarnation that brought me into this reality was filled with so much pain and so much suffering. And as I spoke that to Monica, I was like, you know, I was thinking about my time as a minister and as a pastor and working in street ministry and hearing the pastors that would go out, you know, and slay demons, you know, and cast them out in the name of Jesus. And these thoughts came to me. And I remember pastoral friends talking about the smell of a demonic possession. And I remember like associating that in my process yesterday as I was reading through the book with the way that I smelled as a child. You know, as we begin to unravel the confusion of the illusion and the separation that the religious mindset has created inside of us, there is an initiation inside of me. I'm provoked to point fingers at these established religions and how they have created ideas inside of my mind that are so deep within my subconscious of shame and guilt. And these ideas and concepts of shame and guilt have created such a bondage in my life that even as I'm wanting to love little Andy, this little boy inside of this grown ass, you know, man, right? As I'm wanting to love him, I'm looking at him as a demon. I'm looking at this little boy as a fucking demon. I mean, really, like, where does this come from? You know, like, what part of me is so filled with shame and so filled of guilt that I could look at my past self and say to myself that I incarnated as an evil being? And I just, you know, of course, the fortification of my behaviors that are associated with helping people, that are associated with the ministry work that I've done, that I have achieved in my life as a keynote speaker, in going into the hospitals and working with kids. And Monica knows my life really well, and she knows how the Creator brought a little boy onto my bus, right? And man, I get so emotional talking about this. I was working in Sunny Slope, and Sunny Slope is like, it's one of the roughest, you know, neighborhoods it's definitely the roughest neighborhood on the north side of Phoenix. When I was there in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, it was dangerous, you know, it was dangerous. And I can tell you honestly that there are more, you know, not that I buried any bodies in North Mountain, but they're guaranteed there are some bodies buried in North Mountain Reserve from people who did the wrong drug deal in Sunny Slope. You know, I was living in that neighborhood, high on crack, high on heroin, running amok, you know, trying to get what I could to stay high, to medicate myself, to try and make it through the density of the childhood trauma, of the suffering, of the pain, of the post-traumatic stress, trying to stay sane by putting substances in my body and allowing for myself not to focus on that trauma. And as I went through that process, it was a hard time. But I didn't know then that that would be one of my greatest ministry fields, that that would be the field that I would need to tend and that I would go back into as a person that had gone through spiritual transformation. So when I got out of prison, I went directly into ministry work, and I worked at the big church, you know, Phoenix First Assembly, and I was a bus pastor and block pastor. So we would go into Sunny Slope and we would hand out food boxes to families, primarily families that were dealing with incarceration, addiction, the struggles of poverty, all of those issues. So I had multiple families that I was working with, and one of those families was the Dixons. And James Dixon was a little boy that came onto my bus, and he came onto my bus and he had gone to the bathroom on himself, and kids were throwing stuff at him. I mean, this was not your everyday church bus, right? This wasn't like, you know, a church bus filled with kids that had grown up in the church. I mean, these parents were usually up all night and then sending their kids on the bus so that they could get a couple hours of sleep. I mean, these were the kids that I was ministering to. Kids that were growing up the way that I grew up in the neighborhood, you know, watching my mom sticking needles in her arm, junkies coming over, robbing us, that kind of stuff. So I had a heart for these kids. And as James came onto the bus, he walked past me, and, you know, immediately I'm there and I'm smelling this kid, and, you know, he's gone to the bathroom on himself, and kids are picking on him. They're throwing stuff at him. And I go to the back of the bus where he's sitting, and I start to talk to him, and I'm, you know, talking to him about his life, and I'm saying, you know, James, is your mom in jail? And he's like nodding, you know. And I said, James, do you know that I went to the bathroom on myself when I was a little boy, and my mom was in jail. And, you know, I want you to know that you're safe and that I'm going to help you. And he just looks up at me like he had seen a ghost, that I was reading his mail, you know, that I knew what he had gone through in his life, that he had been traumatized as a little boy. And yesterday, as I'm going through this process, right, and I'm demonizing little Andy, this same little boy, you know, that was wanting nothing but love, you know, that was wanting nothing but someone to see him, someone to be there and understand his pain, someone to want to have the gift of empathy, you know. And this is why I look at all of you that criticize yourself about your empathetic gift, and I look at you and I think to myself, what a gift you have. And if I can just share with you the tools to harness that gift, how you could liberate a child that's in suffering, how you could be a person that could be a witness for the power of your empathy. And if this incubation period that we're in right now, and if this process that we're in being in the darkness and coming out of the darkness, if this is a time for you to hone any craft, I would say allow for this time to be a time in which you hone the craft of your empathy. Because it's the empathy that goes into the channels of density. And it feels into the channels of density with courage, with brave conviction. And as I was realizing that relationship that I had to James, and as I brought that forward in my relationship with Monica, and Monica looked at me and she knew that something was going on, and she knew that I was in a process because the fucking wheels were turning in my mind. You feel that? You feel the wheels turn? Do you ever find yourself in the turning wheels of the cycles of your processing as you begin to go through the betrayal, through the trauma, through the victimization and all of those things? Have you ever been in that turning wheel on the gerbil, right? Running on the gerbil wheel and being in the process, and somebody you love say, hey, what's going on? You know, and as she said that to me, I brought myself to the place of really bringing forward that painful idea that I just brought forward to you, that I would judge this little boy that's in trauma so deeply that he has post-traumatic stress so bad that he doesn't want to leave the room because he's afraid to leave the room, to go to the bathroom. This is the trauma that I was in. And as James came to me, and I was able to minister to him, and I was able to go courageously into the depths of his own trauma and share with him that he's not alone there, that I'm sitting with him there. Right? Monica said to me, what did you say to the boy that came on the bus? Did you call him a demon because he smelled like he did? Of course I didn't. You know, and of course I need to hear that. I need to hear that, and I need to say that to little Andy, right? Little Andy inside of me, the little boy inside of me, needs to hear this grown-ass, 280-pound man say to that little boy, you know, you're safe. I'm going to be here with you. And as you go through that cycle of being with that place, I'm not going to demonize you anymore. You know, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, that you haven't lived your life, that you're no good, that you're worthless, all the things that I've been taught in my life, that I'm genetically flawed. These are the things that this institution and this place of confinement and captivity will impart to you if you allow yourself to listen to it. You are so much more than what the captivity of your mind has created you to be. We are in a time, in an era, in the evolution of humanity, the evolution of the earth, that the confrontation within ourselves of the fear of our own internal captivity is the revelation that brings us to a place of the absence of fear upon the reflection of the world. We are working out the process. And if there is a place of heaven on earth, it is in which the limitless potential of our spiritual nature is resonating in multiple dimensional frequencies as we walk into the room, filling the room with love, displacing the fear, displacing the bigotry, the racism, displacing the ideas of the institution of religion. The idea of the empowered nature is inside of us in our ability to love. And where does that begin? That begins with loving the child in you that is filled with limitless potential, yet at the same time is harboring the traumas of the institutional mindset that has created viral programming working in the matrix of your mind, sometimes underneath all of the layers. How do we get there? We have to go inside. This is the incubation period in which you become the father, the mother. You become the sister, the brother, the grandchild. You become the earthling again. Rise up. Rise up and allow for yourself to go boldly with the shield of faith to protect you from the arrows that fly by night. Go boldly with the ability to cut the cords, burn like the blue flame fire that cuts through the chains of captivity in the isolation of your own mind. The density of that captivity is the catalyst for your revelation. Allow for your empathy to be your guide. Feel into the density of human emotion. The universe will bring you reflections of self if you allow for that opportunity to manifest. Your service practice is your greatest gift. It was such a deep time of reflection yesterday, and I woke up this morning feeling so liberated. And so many signs came through, so many blessings already came through, that I know that the work, right? The work of going in and rewriting the narrative. And this is a lifelong process. You know, that's what I think in intimacy and vulnerability in our relationships. When you have been through the things that some of you have been through, and, you know, gratefully, I know some of your stories because you reach out to me and you share things with me and you're open enough to share from your heart. And I want you to know that I am sitting with you in the things you have been through in your life. That maybe for once in your life, someone is going to share with you from their heart and say to you that they can't imagine what you're going through. This bullshit society, in the way that it perpetuates the distancing from our emotional gift, has hardwired in our minds, I can't imagine what you're going through. As soon as someone says that to you, there is a psychological click that goes on in your head, and immediately the shield of protection goes up. Because as a person says that they can't imagine what you've been through, when you drank too much and that person took advantage of you, and you woke up with your panties off, and you woke up in a place that you didn't know where you were at, and you woke up and you were hurt and you were raped, and the people that you called your friends that were supposed to protect you, when all you wanted to do was cure the loneliness inside of you. All you wanted to do was go over and have a drink, have a beer, smoke some weed with your friends, do a couple lines with your friends. All you wanted to do was have some fun. And next thing you know, you're waking up and your panties are in the room and you're naked on a bed. You know, this wasn't your fault, sister. It was not your fault. I don't care what anybody told you. If your fucking grandma told you it was your fault, she's full of shit. It was not your fault. It was not your fault when loneliness led you to that place. And that victim inside of you was perpetuated, and you began to say, oh, this is what I deserve. This is what you get when you drink around savage predators. And to the men that have done this, that have intentionally brought a woman to their house to get them high and drunk so they could take advantage of them. The woundedness inside of the masculine that says that you're not worthy, that a woman won't love you unless she's drunk, that a woman won't love you unless she's high. I want to let you know that I understand your pain. I understand the emergence of a predator that would go out there and take advantage of people. I know what that's like to be so wounded, so filled with shame, so filled with guilt that I would behave in that way. You're not alone. You're not a demon. You are not a whore. You are not the catalyst of whatever this institution calls you. Free yourself from the confines of your own predatory imagery of yourself. It's not because you grew up in a shit environment with drug addict parents that you're supposed to go to prison, that you're supposed to put needles in your arm, that you're supposed to be a fucking junkie for the rest of your life. That is bullshit. You are not genetically flawed. You are not hardwired to mental illness. We are not genetic engineering. We are epigenetic vehicles. The more that we get involved in the earth, the more that we ground ourselves in the relationship to the air, the water, the fire, the earth, the more that we see ourselves as those that would inherit this earth, the more that we free our minds. The empowerment rises. Your freedom, your sovereignty is in your relationships. Empower yourself to the freedom that comes from self-discovery, from the gentle, loving nature of the divine feminine, from the ability to love and protect yourself in a way that is within reason. Protection is an internal mechanism that says, my soul has already resolved its death. The death of the body means nothing because I am an eternal being. You know what that means? When you spiritually hone yourself to that, where you have grinded away the knobs and the sharp places in your life, when you feel the respect of what it means to be an eternal being, to know that you are a spiritual being, that you are God incarnated in this lifetime. No more shame, no more guilt. You are the goddess representation of the eternal consciousness, the great I am, the mystical energy that fortified every form of sacred geometry. You are the replication of the darkness that became light. You are walking in the Messiah ship. The Messiah ship. The doors are open. Come on, get on board. Woo! Man. Realize it. Realize in the density of your suffering. You know, give thanks. Give thanks for the trauma that is in your life. Give thanks for the pain that is in your life. Give thanks with courage and obedience to the process. Look at the cycles and realize that you are not alone. I'm here with you. I'm sitting with you on an energetic level. You know, if you reach out to me, I'll send you a prayer. You know, if you need encouragement, you'll find it in me. I'm sitting here with you. I'm not going to be the one that tells you, I can't imagine what you're going through. No. I know suffering. I know pain. I know loneliness. I know addiction. I know heartache. I know what it's like to be the predator. I know what it's like to be the prey. I know what it's like to be the little boy that's left at the fucking dope house. And some 18-year-old girl tries to play with my little boy penis until it's raw. To be sexually, to be a victim of sexual abuse. These are the things that I've gone through in my life, and I want you to know that I'm here with you in your trauma. And can you please pass this on? Can you please eliminate the ideas and the concepts of distancing yourself from trauma because of the bullshit you've told yourself about your empathy? Your empathy is the vehicle to transform the density of energy, not the catalyst for your captivity. The catalyst for your captivity is the suffering of your own intellect and not stepping into your freedom. Your freedom is the ability for you to transform energy. You have been designed since the foundations of the creation of the universe to be a limitless form of the potential of consciousness. You are that very nature within you that transforms the density of suffering into the fortification of the metaphysical architecture that creates the gravity of limitless potential. You are the miracle itself. You are the miracle worker. Realize this. Realize the potential. We are going to a place that is better than where we're at, people. It is better than where we're at. The confines of the captivity, the transmission that has been initiated, the illumination of the path is before us. We are here together. And it's no longer the idea that it's us and them. The only us and them is evident in the lack of love. Love is the sign. Love is the reason. Love is the equipment. It is the very nature and the gravity that pulls us to the likeness. Why have you been called to this live feed? It is because before the foundations of the earth, you knew that this resonant frequency would find you of liberation. It is time to let go. To shake the chains off. Man. Woo! Feel the spirit in this place right now. Whew. You know, I remember the first time that I came to grips with the liberation from the predator, inside of me. When you grow up with the constructs of, and I'm not trying to justify anything, so don't take this out of context, okay? I'm not trying to justify the behavior of myself, the behavior of my brothers, the behavior of the masculine in this world of inequality. Because, the masculine has oppressed the feminine. It is a reality. And I want to let you know that in my life, in being able to go deeply within that trauma, I was so grateful when I asked Monica. I said, Monica, will you be the women that I took advantage of? Will you be in front of me and will you allow me to apologize to her? Because there was times in my life when my motivation of the sexual predator inside of me, being this broken boy that was sexually abused, being this little boy that was, and I'm justifying right now, right? Because it's so traumatic to even speak it to you that I feel I need to justify myself. But fuck that, I'm just going to say it. When I told to Monica, please, babe, will you please let me ask her for forgiveness? And Monica said, I'll be that. And will you let me be seen? And all of the sisters that are out there that have ever in their lives questioned if they were raped, I want you to know that I see you. And I stand in the gap. And I know that you want to ask that man if he raped you, if he did it on purpose. And I want to let you know that he did it on purpose. There's no more questioning in your mind. No more confusion of the illusion. Let yourself be seen. Let the victim inside of you be seen. And now, love that part of yourself. Just as I had to love the predator inside of me. You know how much courage it took to ask Monica to allow me to apologize to the woman that I had betrayed, the woman's trust that I had betrayed, the person that I was, the insecure drug dealer that would go and get women high and drunk and take advantage of them? And how courageous she had to be that person. And we were in the woods in Oregon, and we stood there side by side in these beautiful old growth trees. And we had this intimate moment of connection. Predator and prey, they all dissolved away, and we were human beings in experience, loving one another through those cycles. Every single victim of sexual abuse will never feel satisfied in the place of punitive justice, We will never feel satisfied in the place of punishing the perpetrator. We feel satisfied in the recognition of the ability to transform the density of that energy into love. You know how much of that ministry right there has transformed our lives? You know, we've shared this in drum circles. You know, we were at Joshua Tree Music Festival, about 200 people drumming with us. And I gave this message right here to the audience. And this woman came up to me afterwards. Fuck, man. She came up to me and she said that she had been raped in that she didn't know how to let go of the trauma, you know, she didn't know how to let go of the pain. And she said when I said that to the group, it felt like I was saying it to her. And she said she felt a wave of suffering just go into the earth. And that wave of suffering just went into the earth, and as it released itself, she said she felt renewed. And for some reason, you know, I know a lot of you have been commenting, and I don't want any of you to feel like I'm not listening to your comments. I just get on a roll there. And the idea and the concept of punishing people is outside of the bounds of spirituality. Spirituality is a place of restoration back to the wholeness. That's the process of production for the means of restoration. We produce to restore people, families, community, and the planet. Get this ingrained into you. This is the vision of where we're going, because innately inside of everything is beauty. Innately inside of all of this universe is beauty. We are charged to see the beauty. This is the concept of restorative justice rather than punitive justice. Punitive justice is punishment for the behavior without the acknowledgement of the beauty inside of the individual. In order for us to correct behavior, we must see beauty. We must have a reference point. That's why in the tradition of my ancestors, the beauty way, beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. That day at Joshua Tree, there was a restoration of the beauty that had been trampled upon by the victimization of this sister. In her own mind, how she had traumatized herself, telling herself over and over again that she deserved it. She said that even her mom told her that. You know, and as I spoke that truth, there was a liberation there. You know, we have such a dysfunctional way of viewing our women, that our women have it ingrained in them that it's okay. Certain women, not all, certain women have it ingrained in them to justify the behaviors of the predatory masculine. And this is so sick. It's so dysfunctional. It's destructive in nature. And that's the resolve, right? The thing is that there is a part of us that are in this place that we need to resist. We need to resist it every time that it arises. And this is the nature of what goes on inside of spiritual people. Even today, as we are in the transformational energy of the awakening process, as we are in the incubation of the awakening process, if you are in the place inside of your mind where you look at those people that are rallying, right, on Hitler's birthday with guns saying that, you know what, now is the time to rise and we need to open up the country again. If you're looking at them and thinking to yourself, oh, well, they're going to get what they deserve because they live by the sword, they die by the sword. We have to resist this shit. I'm totally 100% guilty of that. When I look at the people that are perpetuating war and destruction and violence, I relate it back to myself and how I was on the edge of destruction in my own life. And what I do is I perpetuate this nonsense comment that, oh, they're going to get what they deserve. They're going to destroy themselves, in other words. Does that justify me not trying to reach out and love them? This perpetuation of this conversation is ingrained in so many of the spiritual traditions. It is a separation concept. In its nature, it is separation. It is not the place of fortifying the metaphysical architecture of peace. If we fortify with density, intellectual understanding, emotional understanding, the gravitational field of peace, the field itself transforms. The dimension transforms. There's no longer let's wait around till the warmongers destroy themselves. How can we call ourselves a spiritual people if this is the nature of our revelation? This is the same revelation that is ingrained within Christianity, within Islam, within Judaism, within all of the foundations of religion. But yet spiritual people are perpetuating this conversation. Oh, we are rising to a higher level. You hear it subtly inside of these teachers. And it's still the same premise of separation. We as individuals that really understand and have matured energy, understand that the density of peace, the density of love, the density of the infinite intelligence within our own lives creates a gravitational shift. And that gravitational shift transforms the world. I know this because I have lived in institutions where the dominoes, guys slapping spades, playing dominoes, cussing, talking about gang banging, killing people, drug dealing, all of this stuff. And the person that had a spiritual identity would walk into the room and transform the room. You have that same power in you of the density of energy. If you can fortify the presence of love in your life, love will gravitate itself. And see, those energies that are like love will manifest around you. You will have the aura of love. This is what we need to focus on. Because this is the transformational energy that goes into the consciousness and allows for the displacement of war, mistrust, shame, guilt, betrayal, all of these energies. Those energies in themselves create possibility. We are in a place in which we are honing, not denying greed as the evil empire, but instead utilizing greed as an energy to be greedy for clean air, clean water, clean earth, clean fire, clean energy. In other words, what I'm sharing with you is that as we deny ourselves the emotional understanding, we miss the opportunity to create tangible transformation through the density of our own emotions. We must always look at energy as potential. If this isn't always to have, this is one that is beautiful. All right, time to pray, everybody. I went on a little bit of a tangent there, and I know I want to give everybody an opportunity to pray. So I'm going to go ahead and light this fireplace here and introduce myself. Plus, me and Monica are trying to get out of here today. If you can, please, donate. Reciprocity is always accepted and received and gratefully given back. $1, $2, $3, whatever it is you give, know that it's given, and we love you so much. And thank you so much for giving that. Also, if you'd like a copy of the audiobook, everyone that donates as a part of this ministry, you're going to get a free copy of the unedited audiobook sent to you as soon as it's done. We only have about 30 more pages of the Sacred Seven, the design of the wholeness of self-identity. So if you donate today any amount to this online live ministry, you will receive a copy. Just put in your donation audiobook, and I will send you a unedited version of the Sacred Seven audiobook. This is before it actually gets put on Amazon. I'll do some edits to it, some very simple tweaks, but before we send it off to actually have the audiobook fully edited, in other words, paying for someone to edit it or trading with someone for them to edit it, you will receive that first rough draft of the audiobook. Any donation amount today on this live, just put in the live stream audiobook, and I will send it directly to your email as an MP3 file, and you can listen to it or archive it, or just keep it as a knowing that we really appreciate you giving to this ministry, and you're giving to our ministry, we want to go ahead and bless you guys with the audiobook. It's been a work in progress. I've been really focusing myself when I start to feel that laziness, right? Oh, I just want to watch Netflix. I got to encourage myself to get off the couch and go and get the audiobook. So, all right, coming into the prayer place here, I brought some new cedars out. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and do this offering here on the fireplace, and we'll go ahead and begin the prayer. So I'll outline the prayer for all of you so you know how it's going to happen. So I pray with thanks for that which we do not see. This is the essence of faith. So giving thanks for a government that cares about the poor, that cares about the refugee, that cares about the hurting. This is what we're doing, right? And then once we give thanks, then I may move into the giftings of the Holy Spirit. The giftings of the Holy Spirit are evident. This is the speaking in the light language, the speaking in the heavenly language, and then also the gift of prophecy, the gift of encouragement, all of these things. So as I share this with you in this prayer place, ground yourself in to the fortification of the realization of the infinite intelligence. And as we come into relationship again with the air, the water, the fire, the earth, and with all of the holy deities, we allow ourselves to be in that council, a council made of light, a council made of love. So give thanks to that. I'll go ahead and put this offering down here and introduce myself in the traditional language and then the contemporary. So dogate Andrew Ecker Yinashe, Adon E Nishinigi E De Nishe, Irish Bashachin, Ide Dashache, German Dashanali, Akote Go E Tashli Portland, Oregon, Inasha, Shema Kathy Lindsay Woye, Shaza Del Ecker Wole. That is the ceremonial introduction. As best as I know it, I didn't grow up with the traditional language, so just try my best to introduce myself in the language for all my relatives. And then I'll introduce myself in the contemporary. So my name is Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Dale Ecker, my mother's mother Elva Gallegos, Apache woman from New Mexico, my father's mother Evelyn Beatty, an Irish woman from Pennsylvania, my mother's father Leroy Lindsay, Apache man from Arkansas, my father's father Wayne Ecker, German and Algonquin from Pennsylvania. I have a daughter Bailey, a son Peyton, a beautiful beloved fiance Monica. Very grateful to be here with all of you as we journey into this prayer place together. Give thanks now for that which is unseen. Oh, blessed feminine, masculine, creator source, we thank you for this opportunity to create this circle of light around us. And we invite into this circle of light the holy ones, the air, the water, the fire, the earth, gravity, time, spirit. We thank you for the ancestral lands of the indigenous people, the lands that we live on, the lands that we work on, the lands that we pray and have ceremony. We thank you for the Akmel Atam, the Pipash, the Maricopa, the Ide, the Apache people, these lands that we reside upon here in Phoenix, Arizona, and all the ancestral lands of my brothers and sisters, the children of the Most High that are gathered here in this prayer place. We thank you for those ancestral lands. And we also thank you for the land that is evident within our DNA. And we thank you for the ancestral lands that go back to the very dawn of creation. We thank you that before the foundations of the earth, before the foundations of the elements, that this spiritual place of creation, this spiritual place of prayer was founded. And inside of this prayer place, we give the darkness its ability to bring forth the light. We thank you for the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. We thank you for the ability to be in a place in which we transcend the physical and we allow ourselves to enter into the energetic, giving thanks to the vibrational frequency and the programming that we restore in the place of restoration. We thank you for the restoration in the hearts and the minds of the individuals that are called into the places in the government, in the presidential arena, in the judicial arena, in the legislative arena, in all of the different cabinet and all of the different places within the government. We pray it together as a field of light, that there would be a transmission and a transformation in these organizations, that the government would show us signs of caring about the refugee, of caring about the sick, of caring about those that are less fortunate, that we would see the miracle wonder of what it means to pray in this ability to transform and bring transformation to the earth. We thank you for the idea and the concept of being a cord of many strands that is not easily broken. We thank you for the unification of where 2 or 3 are gathered. There is the presence of the infinite source. And we allow ourselves to now step into that place, realizing the potential of our prayer, realizing the limitless potential. And we call forward the ability to live in peaceful coexistence with the planet. We thank you for the restoration of lost understanding. We thank you for the restoration of the species of this planet. We thank you for the ability to transform the density of the contamination into unification. We thank you for the ability to be in a place of living with the best nutrients for the body, the best foods for the body, the best rejuvenation for ourselves. We thank you for the divine health that you have given us, even right now as we transcend the physical limitations into the energetic field. We thank you for the ability to step into this place, honing our abilities. We thank you for the transmission of our energies. We thank you for the light beings that are here in this sacred circle. We thank you for our moms, our dads, our grandmas, our grandpas, our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, our sons, our daughters. We thank you for the elemental beings. We thank you for the star, light, angels that are here right now, even ministering to us as we step forward into this place, knowing that you are a shield of faith to protect us from the arrow that flies by night, that you have been a light to our footsteps, that you have guided us as we have anchored ourselves into the earth, that we have found the very center of the earth in this transmission of the universal consciousness as we open up our crown, as we allow for ourselves to enter into the grid, even right now, mending the hoop of light, mending the grid, allowing for the energy of love to transform this place. We thank you for the soldiers putting down their guns and picking up drums. We thank you for a new song, a new ceremony. We thank you for the ability to hold hands. We thank you for the dissolving of racial barriers. We thank you for the dissolving of bigotry. We thank you for the dissolving of gender bias. We thank you for the dissolving of the ideas and the concepts that limit us in our love for those of different sexual orientation. We thank you for the ability to be in a place of divine witness of the power of prayer. We thank you for the miracle signs and wonders, the synchronicities that illuminate themselves as we go forward on this path, as we allow for ourselves to go into the cycles of the density of human suffering. We liberate ourselves to this place of cosmic love. We allow for ourselves to be fully equipped within every single form of our emotional body. We allow for ourselves to go into the insecurities now, into the places in which we have hid the density of our suffering, so that we now may illuminate the process. We now may illuminate that and bring that forth in love. We thank you for the ability to love the inner child. We thank you for the ability to love the ego. We thank you for the ability to love the very nature that is inside of all of us. We thank you for the ability to love those that have come into our field, that have brought us to a place of realization. We thank you for the ability to sing songs, to play the drum, to dance, to be in a place of the infinite intelligence. We thank you for creativity, imagination, innovation, that we may expand what it means to be living in peaceful coexistence. We thank you for the process of production, for the means of restoration. We thank you for the limitless ability that you have granted to us, the limitless ability to be in the place of the nature and the foundation of a peaceful understanding. We thank you for the peace that surpasses all understanding. We thank you for the dissolving of our financial insecurities and allowing for us to live free. Di maka sini waramako antisi kata sanito kama washikit ni maroko ashikini tuki maka anat ori waka anasanita dirin tu tikishinito amakunita anito rimaka shenito kiri maka sanito kayo ankima konet anito ashodi dabaku ana yesinito akanito nina maakon sinino mo ori waka rimaka ribaka sinito ari makoneta anita shinikato unyata krama oriaka nita shinita koma aneto anita snita esinita makoneto ka sinita onira oria makati shinito wama anito remako asite sinita pani asinito kishinito shinito kaneta ama anito kaichi shinito amare wakona na wari to kone na ne wara koneta anitore makore makone da shinita anitore maka anesanita a. She drinks of the water of the stream, knowing that it has given her life. She is mother. She has provided for those that have come into her field. Mother, panther, jaguar, She gives us the understanding of what it means to be the poet and the poetry itself. What it means to be in the place of understanding how beautiful and real this life of nature and nurturing the qualities of limitless potential. I have sat in the council and I have heard through lifetimes the wisdom of the foundations of this world. And I have called you to this place that you may be in the council again, that you may be in circle again, that you may mend the hoop that has been broken. It is a peaceful wave that has moved in and out like the breath of life. It is a peaceful wave that has allowed us to be together. Realize that you are independently chosen to practice your giftings. In the practice, the honing and the fortification of the realization is manifested to you. You know, child, daughter, that I have come to be with you, that you would hone your gifts now, to be in the place of letting go of the limitations, the bindings of your logical mind, and step into the intuitive nature within you. You have studied and found yourself worthy, yet the university that is within you is the universal consciousness. You must find your reckoning with that which is limitless. You must find your relationship again. Know now that I have called you since the foundations of the earth to be with me, guided, protected, and cared for. The spirit of your guide is here. The spirit of your teacher is within you. You have found that which you have searched for. My name is Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Dale Ecker, my mother's mother Elva Gallegos, my father's mother Evelyn Beatty, my mother's father Leroy Lindsay, my father's father Wayne Ecker. When I came into that space of praying into the Holy Spirit, I seen this really strong image of a golden jaguar kneeling by the water drinking. And she was beautiful. She was spotted, golden jaguar, mother of her cubs. And I feel like this transmission that was given to me was very ancient South American, something like that, that brought through. And just wanted to share that much with you. Give thanks for the opportunity to be here together with you. I love you guys so much, and thank you for allowing for me to share in intimacy, with so many of you. And thank you, Monica, for reminding me of the conversation we had yesterday and how meaningful that was. It was so good. So give thanks to all of you here. Love you so much, and I hope that you that your day is filled with so much prosperity and so much abundance that you just realize how much you are truly loved. And if you need any encouragement throughout your day, if the struggle of the day gets too much for you, I know some of you are healthcare workers and you need some encouragement, just reach out to me. I'd love to share a personal message with you. Generally just send a recorded prayer to people that request those sorts of encouragements throughout the day. So know I'm with you, here together in this ministry. Thank you for your support, for buying our art, for purchasing the book, for donating. And again, the offer that I wanted to share with you is if anybody wants to donate any amount, just put audiobook on the PayPal and we'll send you the unedited version of the Sacred Seven on audiobook. Working on that right now. So love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. I think we're going to go to Payson today, just get out of the house a little bit, maybe go hunt some crystals. Anyway, love you. Blessings. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. I am, we are made beautiful again. Aho. Please share this. Blessings.